It's that time again. Get up, get off the couch, and tackle your to-do list. On today's episode, on our job, we're forming and installing eavesdroughs. Load the truck, ladders, tools, all materials. And don't forget the coffee maker. Let's go. I am Bob Assadourian. Today we're installing eavesdroughs. We have a viewer's email. Hello, Bob. My husband wants to save money by purchasing 10-foot lengths of eavesdroughs from the big box store and seaming them all together all around our house. I think this spells trouble. Please help. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for the email. Now, I must agree, two big issues with seaming together a ton of lengths of eavesdrougs. Number one, each seam has the potential to leak. Number two, it's unsightly. You will definitely be lessening or lowering the value of your home. On this program at one of our job sites, we're going to teach you how to install eavesdrough, seamless on-site formed eavesdroughs. Now, this episode is from two other parts from last season. We demolished the eavesdrough, we pulled off the fascia, we pulled off the aluminum soffit, and we pulled off all the wood soffit in order to create an airflow into the attic, out through the roof vents to expel the heat. So this was done. Then on the following episode, we installed beautiful aluminum fascia and aluminum soffit to protect the wood components. In a few moments, we'll be teaching you how to install the eavesdroughs, but always remember, this program has two goals in mind always. Number one, to motivate you to get up, get off the couch, and tackle your own to-do list. Number two, if for whatever reason DIY home improvements are not for you, maybe you don't have the time or you don't care for it, that's fine. On this program, we will always endeavor to demystify home improvement projects. That way you can find the right contractor for you and your own home. Speaking of contractors, unlike reality television, today's contractor is actually licensed. Two licenses, master building repair and the contractor portion. Now, why is that important for you, the homeowner? Pause, scan the QR code on your screen. That will take you to our ever-growing database with over 12 interviews, most of them half an hour or more. During these interviews, you will learn everything from A to Z to protect yourself, to make sure no one ever rips you off. Enjoy those interviews and learn from them. Now, we're going to jump to a quick answer here. Spoke to a lady a few days ago. Wonderful lady. She's having an issue with her bathroom exhaust fan. Now, it looks to me like her contractor left it venting in the attic. You don't do that. Trust me, you never do that. Pause, scan the QR code on your screen, and enjoy that episode and learn from it. From, again, our ever-growing home improvement database. Up next, we're at the job site installing the eavesdroughs. We're at our job site today with our special guest, Wendell Latham. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Please tell our viewers all about yourself. Begin with yourself.
Okay, I'm glad to. I don't have a background in building. My background is actually in biblical theology, and I met, when I was in seminary, I met the love of my life. And when I graduated from seminary, we went and pastored churches, 3 different churches for 23 years. After that, I sought a new career, and I applied it when I was 47 with the Hamilton Police Service to be a police constable. Everybody thought I was nuts because I was 47 years old, and they said there was no way that police would ever hire anybody my age.
Age is only a number.
Age is only a number. 9 months later, I got hired with Hamilton Police.
Excellent.
And I started, but I started the company right before I got hired because I wasn't sure how the career with police was going to work out. The Eavestrough Company.
.com.
Eavestroughcompany.com, exactly.
I memorized it.
And so I started that, but the company grew, and I was still trying to be a full-time police officer. I was a police officer for almost 14 years, until the company grew to such a size that I was working 2 full-time jobs, and it was just too taxing on me. And 2 years ago, I retired from the Hamilton Police Service and just decided to specifically run my company.
Your work, your craftsmanship is second to none.
I agree.
That's why you're at my job today. Tell our viewers what services and products you offer, specifically with the Eavestroughs, with the aluminum work.
We offer a quality job on eavesdroughing, fascia, soffit, siding, and I also install a very excellent gutter protection called Alurex Double Pro. Those are the services that we offer.
The Alurex Double Pro, I've researched it. From my background, I love structure. I love strength. I love figuring out how things are put together. Talk about for a moment about how it adds structure and strength to the Eavestrough.
So the Alurex Double Pro is a continuous fastening system. So with Eavestrough, if you just put brackets on the Eavestrough, or the old style was the nail and ferrule,
yes.
That is where your strength is. Wherever your nail was or wherever your bracket now is, that's where your strength is. The Alurex Double Pro is a continuous fastening system that offers strength. It's like putting brackets around the entire house side by side.
Continuously.
To the point that you can literally hang off the Eavestrough and they will not pull off.
Well, I've seen that in the commercials or promos with the men hanging off of it.
I've done it before.
You've done it before?
I've done it. I hung off the Eavestrough once.
So that can almost simulate ice. An Eavestrough full of ice or full of water or
Will never
snow.
come off the house if you have Double Pro on.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in doing it right the first time. Tell our viewers some of the more interesting installations and horror stories that you've encountered in your travels and meeting homeowners in our community.
Well, I probably encounter about 10 to 20 horrible jobs done every year by other companies, and people call us in to help rescue them. 2 of the stories that really stick in my mind are one, an elderly person in Burlington a few years ago that phoned us because he had a gentleman come knock on his door and said he was installing in the area. He just finished a house and he could do his Eavestroughs that day, but he had to act quick and it could only be paid by cash.
Of course.
And so his Eavestroughs didn't need done, and he had been thinking about it, so he hired this gentleman. It was late in the afternoon. The installer worked well into the evening, and it was dark by the time he finished, so the man couldn't inspect the work. He just paid the guy the cash, never got his name, never got a contract, and in the morning he woke up and saw the terrible job that had happened. It had actually rained overnight as well. Every corner leaked.
Everything.
The downpipes, instead of being straight, they were at one of the most wicked angles I'd ever seen in my life.
No level used and not even a good eye on the part of the installer.
There were 3 Eavestroughs that were cut about 6 inches short, so the water would fall off the roof and completely miss the Eavestrough. And he had no recourse. He called me in to see if I could fix these, and the only thing I could tell him was, you have to rip all of this off and start all over.
Everything's garbage.
He didn't even have the gentleman's name. All he knew was that on the side of his old black truck, it said asphalt. And I kind of told him that maybe you should never hire somebody who is advertising asphalt to do your Eavestroughs. The other story that I think about is when I was working the front desk at Central Police Station, there was a woman that walked in. I happened to be working front desk that day. A woman walked in and wanted to report a fraud. And she had hired a contractor off of Kijiji to do her Eavestrough fascia, soffit, and siding.
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea. And again, it was a cash deal, no contract. And it was obvious to her about halfway in that he was doing a bad job, and she fired him. And he left all the material there and wouldn't finish it, wouldn't strip it off, wouldn't do it right. So I had to explain to her that that was not a fraud. There was nothing we could charge this gentleman with. Yes. It's a civil matter. She'd have to take him to civil court and sue him.
Small claims court.
And so I gave her a talking to about never, ever, ever hiring off of Kijiji or social media.
Any social media.
She walked in 3 weeks later to report another scam because she'd hired a company off Facebook Marketplace.
Wow.
And had the exact same results as she had the first time. So I advised her, don't ever hire anybody who's not a legitimate company, and never hire off of social media.
I can tell you, your customers are lucky people. Your past history and your experience as a police officer brings integrity to what you do. It's absolutely amazing. Lucky homeowners that find you.
One of the things that upsets me the most is when an elderly person or a widow or a single mom, maybe a divorced single mom, gets ripped off by a contractor, and I've seen it over and over again. I always like doing quotes for those people because I have the satisfaction of peace of mind that they're going to get a good job, yes, and they're not going to have issues when we're done.
People ask me all the time, Wendell, why are they so vulnerable? They're home. They're accessible for what I call the door knocker. It takes a lot to get Bob's blood to boil, but these contractors, so-called contractors, knock at the door, canvass neighborhoods, they're annoying you, they're bothering people, and most times it's deceptive, and they want cash and only cash paid that day.
Yeah, cash and only cash.
That bothers me, that bothers me. You're an honest man. I love the work that I've seen you do, and the viewers are gonna love the work you're gonna perform today. We're here with the gutter machine. Wendell, what are you holding in your hand?
This is a part of a gutter coil. So gutter coils come in 100-kilo rolls. They're actually quite large, and they're rolled up. And this coil is 24 thousandths of an inch thick. So on the other end of this gutter machine, it looks just like this. But when we activate the machine, it forms it into this gutter, this eaves trough that you see here.
So it's being fed into the machine and then extruded into this shape.
That's right.
And that leg unit over there is what catches it.
That stand helps keep it level running all the way out.
Trough stand.
That's called a trough stand.
What's the longest gutter you've ever formed?
So the gutter coil is 600 feet long.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, you could make a piece 600 feet long.
That's a lot of men support.
It's a lot.
And a lot of legs.
You got to have a lot of people holding that.
Yeah.
But I've done, the longest piece we've ever installed was 120 feet.
No issues?
No issues. In the back of my house, where I live in Ancaster, is 82 feet. It's all one piece.
So that truly gives you a seamless installation.
Yeah, except in the corner where we miter it, you have one seam, but that's a true seamless
change in directions.
Right, that's right.
The issue I have, and I'm not going to name them, but with the big box stores, when homeowners try to do DIY, and I know I'm always preaching DIY, with a DIY system, you're going to be buying these in 10-foot lengths.
10-foot lengths, so you're going to have a seam every 10 feet.
That's a potential leak every 10 feet.
It always leaks.
It always, or eventually. You can't fight Mother Nature.
That's right.
Forever. With this machine, one length end to end, obviously you change direction, you miter it.
That's right.
Let's see her in action.
All right, activate it.
That's beautiful. Let's see if that was lined up in the right spot. All right, let's get this baby installed.
Okay, let's do it.
Wendell, I must commend you on your team.
Thank you.
These
yeah,
men
they're
work
awesome workers.
Very, very well together. Organized, efficient, planned.
Yeah, they are.
I've noticed each section that they set up from the beginning to the end with the measurements, fabricating the piece in the driveway, setting up the clamps.
The hangers?
The hangers, yes. The hangers, that'll do it. You see, I don't do it often enough. Now, you were telling me earlier off camera that there was a job you seen where the clamps were, I believe one of them was over 4 feet spacing.
Last year I saw a job that had over the spacing between the hangers was 4 feet.
Okay.
The widest I've ever seen was on a condominium corporation on the Hamilton Mountain, and they were spaced between 5 and 6 feet apart, which
wow.
is way too far apart.
Your men are spaced in approximately 2 feet.
18 inches to 20 inches.
18 to 20 inches, excellent. That's the strength.
That's right, yeah. We're not putting the continuous fastening gutter protection system on this, so your strength comes in wherever there's a bracket. So we put them 18 inches to 20 inches apart.
Let's go back in time now. Let's talk about what came the earlier fastening method.
Right. So the first fastening system was called a nail and ferrule system.
Nail and ferrule.
And it's like a 7-inch aluminum nail with a an aluminum sleeve that went inside the eaves trough.
That's what gave it the tension.
That's what gave it the tension and the strength. But it also didn't have much grip to it.
Look, it's a nail.
So over time, they would let go, and then once they let go out of the hole, then they were pretty much done.
Yeah.
But the newer system now is to use a bracket with a zinc-plated screw. You have to use a zinc-plated screw because if you use a steel screw, the screws will rust within 5 to 7 years.
Yes.
Because the eaves trough is aluminum, and then when you marry up a steel screw with it, they're a dissimilar metal. Aluminum will make steel rust faster than if steel was just left on its own.
And they're using levels, so they're gauging where their slope is going to be.
Absolutely.
Where the downspout will be located. Tell me about the sealant that you use for the joints and for the drops for the downspouts.
The caulking that we use is a caulking made by the Henry Company. It's called Copper Elastic, and it's a high-performance sealant that's highly elastic and it has excellent adhesion. It's one of the best caulkings that I've ever found.
I'm very, very well aware of the Henry brand. Phenomenal brand, legendary, so to speak. But you're just like me. I'll spend more. It doesn't matter about a few dollars and cents difference in product, but it's the quality. You can't cheap out when you want good quality.
100%.
Wendell, I must say, Joe, your employee, he's a magician. He's a master craftsman with the tin snips.
Josip makes a very clean corner. There's good corners and not so good corners.
Oh, no, exactly.
A lot of people who don't know what they're doing use what's called a box miter.
Yes.
Which is a factory-made corner. You just go to the store and buy, and that has 3 seams in every corner. So again, you're losing your seamless aspect.
That's completely DIY friendly.
Totally DIY friendly.
Does not require the skill on the snips that Joe was using.
That's correct.
Watching them fabricate those corners, that's where the beauty is.
Yeah.
That's where the skill comes in.
It looks neater, it looks cleaner. You only have one seam to worry about in the future.
As opposed to caulking several.
And it looks like seamless, other than the seam in the corner, which is almost unnoticeable with Joe's work. It looks like it's seamless around the entire house.
Excellent.
The thing I love about all my installers is they work on other people's homes like they would work on their own homes. They want it to be done well, they want it to be done correctly, and there's just no issues with when my guys do the work.
On all our jobs, we use 3-inch by 3-inch downspouts. Look at that technique. Look at that cut. Joe, how hard is it to cut through that stuff?
It's not that bad once you get used to it.
You make it look so easy, effortless.
I know.
Effortless.
A few hundreds of houses and you get to it.
I see you prefab everything on the ground.
Yeah.
It's smart, right? It's better than on the ladder.
Yeah, and right now what I just did right now is an overhang piece.
Okay.
And it just brings the pipe towards the brick of the house.
Okay. And now you test fit it.
That's it.
Testing your cut.
Beauty.
Now these pipes are 3-inch by 3-inch, right?
Yep.
That's considered oversized.
No, that's considered right now standard.
A standard.
Yeah, 3x3.
Because there used to be a rectangular 2x3.
Those are the small pipes.
Yeah, and then even smaller square.
Yes, and then there's even large, which is 3x4.
A commercial, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, for commercial.
Yep.
But this will get the leaves out, this will get the debris out.
Exactly.
With these torrential downpours that you get, it's much, much better to have a larger downspout.
Actually, Bob, a quick little trick that we do on the job.
Yes.
Rather than going up to measure it, we just put it where we want it.
Ah, smart.
You just hit it, and that's where the line is.
And then dent it.
That's it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's the thing, Joe. Somebody like you doing this day in and day out, you know the tricks. You come up with these creative ideas. So obviously these elbows are male-female connection.
That's it, yeah.
What areas, Wendell, what areas would you travel geographically? How far will you go to service homeowners and businesses?
So we're located in Ancaster, right near the Hamilton Airport is where our shop is. We will go as far as, say, Paris and Brantford to the west, to Mississauga, the edge of Mississauga, the far edge of Mississauga to the east. I've done work from up to Guelph and Cambridge up north, and I've also gone down to the Niagara area and installed there.
Excellent. Always on the level, Joe.
That's it.
Or plumb in that case, plumb. Now, Joe, I love this technique now. So you've got a patented way of attaching this. My way's Tapcons, but I love your way. It's different. It's unique.
I don't know if it's patented, but
We'll patent it today on the Just Ask Bob show. Homeowners, pay close attention. Throw away your blue and yellow plastic anchors. So that's a mason bit.
yeah.
Okay, so you're going to get in there.
Drill a hole.
Now, you're using a sliver of aluminum
That's it.
to create a wedge.
Yes.
And then a good quality screw.
Yep.
Very smart. Now you've got a washer. So that washer, you've put the screw through it
Just for a little more extra support.
against the strap.
That's it.
Okay, so the strap's a little thin. So your washer strengthens
Yeah.
it.
The standard, they come thin.
Okay.
Very thin
Yes,
gauge, even
yes.
thinner than the trough.
The
boards.
trough material itself.
Very thin, so that's why we add that little bit to give it that support.
Smart, smart. And then you fasten.
And as you can see, there's nothing.
Wow. Nice, nice. Now, Joe, one more at the top.
Yep.
So two for strength.
Yeah, you want to make sure that that you add two.
Okay, makes sense.
Doesn't matter if it's a bungalow or a two-story. Two's enough.
I don't hire anybody that does one only.
And then if you go 3 stories and you got a 3-story pipe, 3 straps would be
Strap per story.
Yeah.
That's that sliver of aluminum again.
That's all you need.
Nice. I like that you use the fancy decorative straps. A lot of guys just, they cut a strip of aluminum. How many screws typically?
2 is more than enough
Perfect.
per strap.
If you're gonna say 1, I'd throw you out of here. 2's better than 1, right?
Always.
Now that's a solid connection. Stay tuned. Up next after break, we're back at the shop for Bob's top picks and Bob's bewares. For everything home reno, follow us on social media. Now we have an important segment, Bob's Bewares and Bob's Top Picks. Here we have a plastic eavesdrough. Please don't put this on your home. You can see what the sun does to it. You can see that it'll contort. This has no structure. This has no strength. This is absolutely garbage, and you'll be negatively impacting the value of your home. All of the fittings and attachments, plastic. Everything bends. This is not quality at all. Let's talk about some top picks now. A lot of customers and a lot of homeowners in my experience just need to have the miters or the joint sealed. So it's that irritating drip, drip, drip after you've had a rainfall. And in the wintertime, it can be dangerous because it can cause a freeze thaw, usually at the walkway. So in order to repair your eavesdroughs, you're going to need copper elastic. This caulking is amazing. It will seal out the leak. However, you have to be careful when you use it. You need to use some sandpaper on the joint. You must clean it off. You must remove the old caulking or sealant that's there. Once you remove it and you clean it with the abrasive action of the sandpaper, you need to use acetone. You need to make sure to clean the area. So it's all about being clean. It's all about being neat. Pull off the old sealant on the corners on the eavesdroughs, sand it, rinse it off in the acetone, and then apply the copper elastic. That's very important. You know, you have to think about this now. When you cut the crooked and overcharging contractor out of the equation and you DIY, you do it yourself, you save a lot of money. You could be charged anywhere from $500 to even $1,000 or more to hire a contractor to go around your home and repair some of these joints. With less than $50 in materials, you can do a better job. Why? Because you care. It's your home. So when you do save the money, reinvest it into purchasing the highest quality materials for you and for your home. New for this season, our ever-growing database just grew a lot larger. Our newsletter, monthly e-newsletter, is now covered in the Bay Observer. Pause, scan the QR code on your screen, and you can visit us in the Bay Observer. Send us your questions. They may be featured on this very program. JustAskBob.com, send us an email, or simply contact us through social media. We're always here to respond. Largest home improvement database on the net. I've said this time and time again. Everybody learns differently. Some of you learn best by reading, others by listening, others by watching. Our database features hundreds of these home improvement episodes. We also feature Just Ask Bob on radio, not only on one network, but on two. We have dozens and dozens of our written DIY columns, a university of knowledge for the taking. Are you old school? Want to just pick up the phone and call? Absolutely no problem. 289-649-0196. Again, that's 289-649-0196. Thank you.